Gamer Dude 2088, and what is that? Really? Is this happening? Are we in Giants B7? Yes, we are. And I'm going to tell you how we got into Giants B7. Because remember, we were doing B6 consistently, and now we got some pretty decent runs in B7. But it's a hit and miss. Sometimes we lose, but generally we get victories just like this one. Look at that, we set a new best time, perfect for the video. So welcome back to another episode of Back to Square One. And in this episode, we're gonna get into our rooms some more. In the last video was pretty much an update into the next section of the series and what we're going to be talking about. But I did lie. You saw Konamiya there. I did kind of lie. I said I was going to build Lulu, but it's like I wanted to, but in a side-by-side comparison, I mean, these skills are decent. These skills are pretty decent. I mean, they're not bad skills. It works, but it's just this second skill. It's the bee's knees. The resurge is just too good. I mean, it gives you turns, and I love in any game where I can manipulate time and the amount of turns that my team can get and the enemy doesn't get. And this skill just allows you to get so many turns. So it's like I couldn't pass it up. And I mean, he has his decent third skill, and the first skill that applies a stun, which is which is pretty good going up in those preliminary fights up into the boss. But this is not what we're talking about. But that I end up making that choice because of that. He's not fully skilled. No. Thought I fully skilled my Konamiya. Well, I'm gonna have to go back and skill up Konamiya. But anyway, I did like slap some rooms and took some stuff around and try to make something decent with Konamiya. But pretty much with your units, you have a certain attack order that you want to have when you're playing. Is usually your supporters and then your attackers, in that order. And basically you want the monsters that influence the attack bar to go first. So in that case, this would be our Bernard. We want Bernard to be the fastest. This is why a lot of late game players still have Bernard on a Swift build, speed and slot 2, and try to shoot for that 300 speed Bernard. Try to get him as fast as possible. Generally, most players that I see will have like some terrible sub stats on their Bernard. Like, why do I got crit rate and crit damage on these? It's just like terrible sub stats just to have extra speed, even though I don't have too much. I don't have too much speed in the sub-stat area because I didn't pull decent enough rooms. But you will see stuff like this too, where they're around like a broken set just because I mean 11 speed, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. You want that when you build in a monster like Bernard or just Bernard himself to influence the attack bar because of his third skill. That Tailwind increases the attack bar of all allies by 30% and also increases their attack speed for 2 turns. So you get the attack bar increase plus 2 turns of boosted speed, which I believe is 33% or 30% boost to speed. Don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I've looked up what the boost is for your beneficial effects. But you get that speed boost on top of it, and that allows your team to get more turns. So after you get done with that, then what? Generally, in my personal belief, you want your cleanser to go before your healer. Just because if your recovery is being blocked, and if you have a recovery block on your units, if your healer goes first. He's going to heal the low HP, which is not going to do anything. Then your cleansers go and cleanses the HP and doesn't do anything for you. So you can't heal. In this case, my cleanser is Konamiya. I don't quite think Konamiya is faster than, no, not faster than my Bella yet. Since I just started working on Konamiya, it's still a 4-star unit, but works well in that Giants team, as you see. Because I got them tanky enough. I built them tanky enough because I don't have the stats I want for Konamiya. But eventually this Konamiya will be faster. And Konamiya also has a heal within Konamiya's cleanse, which after it cleanses, it will heal on top of on its third skill piece. Removes harmful effects on all allies and recovers HP by 15%. It's not that much on the recovery, but it still gets the job done. And it's more of the cleanse before healing and a support healer to Belladion's super sweet excellent heal, which is, what is it called? Mobilize. That's right, mobilize. I should know these things. But then after they go, your next in your attack order will be the monsters that buff you. And in this case, that will be Mah-Lon. Mah-Lon to be next in line, which somewhat is next in line to buff the team. Now it could go. Now it's not bad if Shannon goes before the healers do. That wouldn't be a bad thing. But in this case, we're just going to say right afterwards. Then you buff the team and get those stat buffs. It's like a hit or miss. The buffer can go before your cleansers and your healers or whatever. But in this case, we're just saying that we want them to go after. And the most important monster in the whole attack order will be your attacker, because you want your attacker to go last in the order, especially after your buffer. This is why it doesn't matter where your buffer is in the rotation, as long as they go before the monster that you have to attack. And you notice I have speed in all of my supportive monsters, and well, except for Ramahan is not. I thought this was Bella. Sorry, Ramahan. But I got speed in all the slot 2s of my support monsters, because you want them to be generally a lot faster than your attackers. Not exactly a large portion all the time, but for your early gameplay, granted, they're going to be at a large speed gap between them. This is why you have attack buffers like Bernard to help the rest of the monsters that's slower, like your attackers, go. And for your attackers, you basically have this same little build: main stat, attack percent, crit damage, attack percent, and you only go that far. You only go for crit damage if you can get, at least in my opinion, only in my opinion, because everyone thinks something different, 60% crit rate. If you're lower than 60%, then you probably want to put crit rate in slot 4. But this is just some of the general basics in attack order. And going into the next video, talking more about the placements of the stats in the runes and coming on. So we leaving that off with Soha, and we be going on to the next video. So this is the Gamer Dude signing out. See you in another episode, and deuces.